Now let's get an update on the spill from U.S. Coast Guard Admiral Thad Allen, commander of the government's response on the scene. Good morning, Admiral.
Good morning.
Let us talk about this cut, because without the diamond saw, the cut cannot be as clean. They're going to use this giant shears width, which, if I understand correctly, BP says is going to make the adjusting this dome on there a little more difficult. Can you amplify this at all?
Sure, Harry. If they were successful with the diamond wire saw, it would have had a very fine, clean cut. And they actually had a device they called a top cap with a rubber seal that would fit nearly completely over the top of the pipe, which would be much more effective in collecting the oil, bringing it to the surface to be produced. What they're going to do now is a slightly larger device with a larger rubber seal that can accommodate an irregular cut. That runs the risk of not having the oil completely captured, would have to be treated with subsea dispersants. But at this point, we know the shears worked yesterday in cutting the other part of the riser pipe.
Right.
That's the best course of action at this point.
Do you want to put odds on how well this is going to work?
Harry, I think we ought to stop putting odds on anything that happens at 5,000 feet below the surface with no human access.
Boy, it's so interesting as we watch now, and we've been anticipating this since this happened, that is, the oil continued to gush out of the bottom of the ocean, that it was going to end up in a lot of places, and now we have the oil heading toward Pensacola. It almost feels like the genie is just now getting out of the bottle.
Well, Harry, as I've said from the start, one of the real challenging things about this, dealing with the oil on top of the water, is that it's, first of all, it's not a monolithic spill. Based on when the oil came to the surface and the wind and the currents, it's gone different directions. So we have a collection of spills roughly within a 200-mile radius around the wellhead. And depending on the prevailing winds, it first went north and then went west towards Louisiana and past the mouth of the Mississippi River. The southerly winds are now pushing it north, but we're dealing with an omnidirectional, indeterminate threat right now, and it's very, very challenging.
Man, it's like some sort of a blob out of a horror movie or something. And one more quick question. You have so many workers dealing directly with this oil. I remember when we were in St. Bernard Parish after Katrina at the Murphy oil spill, and some of the people we worked with were getting sick right there on the scene, in the heat, breathing those fumes. Is there any real way that they can be protected on an ongoing basis other than wearing masks or oxygen or who knows what?
Well, Harry, I was down at Murphy Oil in St. Bernard Parish after Katrina as well, and it was a very difficult situation. When you have the oil come to the surface, it starts evaporating, and some of that's good because it does away with the oil, but it does release volatile organic compounds. There are ways to deal with that, including actually just spraying water on the oil to suppress it, wearing personal protective equipment. All of our people are trained, and OSHA is working with us to make sure we have proper workplace safeguards. But if we think it's too dangerous situation, as we did a couple days ago, we'll just pull the boats off. There's no other choice.
Admiral, thanks so much. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.